In our previous discussions, we talked about how to select a laboratory, what to ask from your laboratory, and what type of questions the laboratory would ask you when you have a sample to be analyzed. In this section, we are going to actually introduce you to Labworld. Labworld focuses predominantly on feed analysis. We do the normal routine nutritional analysis, but we're also focusing on a bit of research and doing additional analysis that can add value to the nutritionist's need and to the specifications that they need to formulate feed or to evaluate raw materials. We also have training available to different industries, as well as technical advisors, or even to our opposition laboratories if they need to do some analysis that they're not entirely sure about. So please follow me around through Labworld so that I can introduce you to the things we do and how we do it, and to see how we meet the needs of our clients.
Samples are important to Labworld, and we need to analyze the samples as we receive it. I make sure that I register the samples correctly with a unique number, and make sure that I take the samples to the lab analyst and make them aware that I've got samples which need this analysis.
We have different types of moistures. The moistures that we do it for a shorter time and for a longer time. The moistures that we do for a longer time is a silage, the wet samples. And the moistures that we do the shorter time is the inorganics. And before we do the moistures, we split our samples. The splitting, depending about the amount of the sample that we're going to use. More especially on the analysis, we look at the analysis, what the analysis the sample needs, the sample that we need. Then that's where we're going to determine how we're going to split. Is it small sample or small sample? Then after done by splitting the sample, we do our moistures. Our moistures normally, it takes 3 hours in a high temperature, and then our shorter moisture, which is 72 hours in a 50 degrees oven, which is a wet sample.
We develop calibrations based on the South African products. We do raw materials and we do finished products. So we rent out our calibrations, and we also develop based on our clients' needs. We also maintain the calibrations yearly or monthly, and we do validations for all the external clients. So all the wet chemistry is done at Labworld, and this is what we base our calibrations on. So here at Labworld, we provide a service called CVAS, which stands for Cumberland Valley Analytical Services, which are calibrations that we scan forages and roughages, and this is part of our ruminant services that we provide at Labworld.
I'm technically responsible for scanning the sample on the 3 instruments. Basically, we're scanning the types of sample the way the customer needs them. We scan the original packet and the unmailed sample and the mailed sample. On these 2 instruments, we also scan the mailed sample. I'm responsible for wash this glassware here. When I'm finishing to wash glassware, I put it in the oven, because the glassware always must dry it. When the analysis use it, we must almost dry it. I'll make sure to take this glassware and put in the carpet, because everyone found the glassware in there when they want to work it.
This is our milling department, where we have different types of milling equipment. On this one, is our hammer mill, where we mill our inorganic samples. And this one is our rich machine equipment, where we mill our animal feed samples. And this one is our force machine, where we mill our silage samples.
Yeah, now we're starting to sieve test here. We have a 16 pot for sieve test. When we're putting our sample there in the sieve test, we are waiting to shake it. After shaking it, we're taking the pot and weigh it. We do the sieve test because the clients want to know the particular size is the same or is not the same.
For mineral determinations, what we normally do is you'd ash your sample, then after ashing it, you digest it with acids. Then also some of the minerals that we analyze is you want to digest them with the microwave. Then after that, you put your acids, then you run on the instrument, which is the ICP.
Here is where I do digestion for caldal protein with sulfuric acid.
I'm responsible for analyzing protein in the lico. I'm also responsible for KOH, PDI, and digestibility of pepsins.
Okay, here we are in the fiber lab. We are focusing on the crude fiber, ADF, NDF, and lignin. And sometimes after we are done with the ADF and NDF, we take the residue to the Duma site. After digesting with the sulfuric acid, we prepare the samples and we analyze them here in the Scala for caldal protein.
I'm responsible for various fat analysis, including crude fat, fat acid hydrolysis. Here we run the crude fat and the fatty AH. And then depending on the type of samples, we also do the Bly & Dyer and the Rose God Lab fat analysis.
I'm responsible for analysis that we do on the auto titrator. This is the auto titrator that I work on. We do analysis like free fatty acid, urease, chloride, Fisher. This is the analysis that we do depending on the requirements of the sample that we have.
So we offer pHs on different products, but we also offer pH services for water, and we also offer pH for acid buffering capacities at different pH levels, but especially for the pH 3 and pH 4.
So this is our light room where we analyze samples that are light sensitive, including our rancidity testing for our oils.
So after we have digested our samples with either with the ash and acid digestion or the microwave, we bring the samples this side of the ICP. Then after that, we basically come here to determine the concentration of the minerals found in that sample. So this is basically where we do the finishing of the entire analysis.
Where we usually develop new methods, but for now I'm just going to explain the digestibility experiment that we conduct. So we conduct starch digestibility, protein digestibility, and fiber digestibility using these two incubators.
So I'm in charge of R&D development of the lab, focusing on new method development. And the chromatography lab section of the Labworld so form major part of the development that we carry out in the lab. And one of the instruments that we use for the chromatography for the development of the new method is the UPSC that we use for amino acid analysis of both the raw materials and the final feed products. And also we look into digestibility of the amino acid as well, in order to see how digestible some of those amino acid in the raw material as well as the final feed is. And the other instrument that we also use for some of the R&D project that we have in the lab is the HPSC that we use for the sugar analysis, both the water soluble and the ethanol soluble sugar component in both the raw material as well as the final feed, in order to be able to determine the total energy composition of the product. So that's basically what we do in the R&D stroke, the chromatography lab of Labworld.
So this is our gas chromatograph with an FI detector. So we do analyze fatty acids from C4 to C24, and we also analyze conjugated linoleic acid in milk and meat products.
I am responsible to make sure that the system is aligned with the standards and requirements, also the policies and the procedures of the company. I'm also responsible for all documentation that includes creating, managing, and updating of all document that is used in the laboratory. Also in the compliance of the occupational health and safety system.